Addiction doesn't come in a neat little package. It's sad, it's painful, it's sometimes gross, it's lonely. That's what addiction and death by overdose are. Addicts or sick with an illness. You wouldn't shun a diabetic for leaving a needle behind after a diabetic shock.
Addiction, widespread brain damage, broken relationships, and a loss of self-control. The painful effects of addiction inflict harm on both user and loved ones. Like a hurricane leaving mass destruction in its wake, the disease ravages individuals without mercy.
My name's Alyssa and I'm a recovered heroin addict, and it's one of the many reasons why I'm majoring in school for psychology right now. I think people need to address the issue that is going around all around us and not ignore it anymore.
I started drinking alcohol at the age of 12, and the very first time I drank, I blacked out. I didn't know what was gonna happen to me.
I started out with Percocets, and then once I couldn't find those anymore, I was already addicted, and then I had something else offered to me, and I took it, heroin, and I started blowing that up my nose. And then next thing I knew, I was shooting it in my arm. And even though I thought I was strong because of everything I already previously went through as a child, and I thought I could handle anything. I thought I had control over it. No matter how strong you are, you can't have control over it. Doesn't matter who you are. The second you think you have control is the second you lost it.
It is an illness. It's brain illness. We have to understand that it's chronic disease, just like diabetes, just like cancer. And it is a disease that takes over the brain. And we have to treat it like it's normal illness, like anything else. So whether a person necessarily wants to get help or doesn't, does not change the fact that they are ill.
According to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, the amount of opioid-related overdose deaths have almost doubled since 2011, resulting in an estimated number of deaths in 2014 to be over 1,000.
My accident is what pretty much opened my eyes. I saw my life flash before my eyes twice. Once when I hit the dump truck and the steering wheel came in on my chest, and the second time was a few days later when I was in Mass General, and I was in such severe withdrawal. I opted out of Suboxone and Methadone. The doctors knew I was withdrawing, but they didn't know what was happening to my body. They thought I was having a stroke, and my heart rate was 200 for a day and a half. I was in a full body cramp. I couldn't talk. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy.
But so by the time I was 18, I was a senior in high school, I was a complete alcoholic. Looking back, I mean, then I was, party fun, party girl, just totally out of my mind. I met somebody who was a great man, and he didn't drink or do drugs. We started dating, and he said to me, you have a problem. We can't see each other anymore. And I remember having the conversation and asking him for help. So I remember we started dating, and we'd go out to, for dinner, and we'd have dinner, and I would be I'd wind up getting 3 sheets to the wind. I'd have 3 or 4 drinks, and here's a sober guy looking at this girl across the table from him, totally hammered. I mean, it just didn't work. So I asked him for help, to help me, and he did. And I went to my very first AA meeting.
So this population although they're seeking treatment, oftentimes can't get a rehab bed. They probably don't have insurance oftentimes. Or if they do, just the beds aren't available because they're so far and few between. So we try to get them stabilized and get them into a community-based program. The problem with that is with their limited resources, they still end up running with the same crowd, and that cycle doesn't get broken.
But there's a lot of people out there who become addicts that are just normal people who are brothers, sisters, daughters, husbands, wives, kids. Like me, who was a high honor roll National Honor Society student, and I just went down the wrong path.
We would never have this discussion about a Narcan treatment for heart patients or cancer patients or diabetic patients, or there's still this stigma out there about behavioral health issues, depression and substance use disorders and all that. Until we get over that and get to the point that we understand this is just another illness, then the only drop boxes to take your excess medications are in police departments. That was a federal regulation, if you will, of the Department of Drug Enforcement. And I wanted to put one of those drop boxes here in the hospital. So fortunately, a couple months ago, they changed the regs. We have one down in our front lobby. And within a month's time, we pulled out the first bag, if you will, of drugs. And there were 40 gallons of pills in the drop box.
I think the main thing we need to remember is that this is an epidemic, and people need to not be ignorant to what is happening to our community and other communities around us. That this is a problem, a serious problem, that innocent young people are falling victim to this drug, and it does not need to be just forgot about and swept under the rug. People cannot turn their backs on it anymore. It needs to be addressed. The reality of the situation is that people need help, and this epidemic has to stop.